Welcome to Visualize, the podcast where collaboration fuels change. I'm your host, Chris Baker, and each week we'll explore incredible connections between nonprofits, businesses, and the community. This is a space where we highlight inspiring partnerships, uncover strategies for creating meaningful impact, and share stories that show how working together can make all the difference. Whether you're a nonprofit leader, a business owner, or someone just passionate about building connections, this podcast is for you. Hi, welcome back to Visualize Podcast. Before we start today's episode, I want to just take a moment to thank our brand partner, Chris Baker with Align and Innovate. Chris leads with heart and strategy, helping small businesses and nonprofits streamline their operations, implement human-first AI systems, and grow with clarity. Align and Innovate isn't just about tools, it's about transformation, alignment, and unlocking doors to new possibilities. We're honored to have Align and Innovate as our partner in this work. To learn more, visit aligninnovate.com or check the show notes for the direct link. Now let's dive into today's episode. Today, we have John Piser from FreshRx. FreshRx aims to provide educational programs and access to fresh, healthy produce for nutritionally vulnerable communities while supporting local, family-owned farms that strengthen regional food systems. Welcome, John.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
Awesome. So what has inspired you to get involved with FreshRx and its mission?
Yeah, so I've always been interested in the local food systems. My degree from the University of Florida was food and resource economics. So that was agribusiness, marketing, management, policy, ethics, all sorts of stuff rolled into this one major. So I knew I wanted to do something with local food. A lot of people don't know where their food comes from.
True.
And it's hard enough for farmers out there. So supporting the people that are doing it locally is something I've been passionate about. So that's kind of where I started. There's another farm in the area I was working for. And before FreshRx was FreshRx, it was a farm called Locks Farms. So I started working at Locks Farms when FreshRx was launched. So I've been around for a while with the team.
All right. Can you explain how FreshRx connects the dots between local farmers and the families that are in need?
Yes. So we have our two programs. Our Farm to Patient program is the one where we buy local produce from our farmers and we distribute that to people in the community who are in need. And we work with various partners to identify these populations. That could be doctors, nurses, dietitians, social workers. They get referred to us, and then we put them in the program.
How do you connect and work with these social workers, doctors, nurses, a little bit more involved?
Yeah, so we've been doing this for about 6 years now, and we have our ties within the community, and then someone will tell someone, and a doctor or nurse will reach out and say, hey, how does your program work? Oh, it's 16 weeks. What do we need to do? So we have everyone fill out an initial health assessment, and then following the program, they fill out a final health assessment and then a 3-month follow-up. We track the data. We get feedback to try and operate better. Yeah, people are referred in through these networks. We started working with Jupiter Medical Center. Our co-founder was the chief of pediatric surgery there. So we have a lot of connections there. And then over the years, we've built up connections with other clinics and other people throughout the community.
So you said 16 weeks. What is included, or how does that 16 weeks work?
So the idea is that for 16 weeks, which is about 4 months, everyone gets a bag of produce delivered weekly. Okay, it could range. For whatever the farms have in season is what we give. So everyone gets a bag of produce once a week that comes with a newsletter. We call it Fresh Fridays. It has what's in the bag, where it's from, cooking recipes, tips, tricks, mindfulness tips, and exercise tips. So the idea is that over these 4 months, we could show people, hey, you might not eat turnips, but they're good for you, and here are some recipes. Try and get people to cook at home and try and have them take control of their health.
So when you're taking control of your health, and especially when you're actually adding in new produce that you probably have not had previously, what are some of the responses you're getting from the people that you're giving these produce to?
Well, some of the people say, hey, I've never had a radish before, but I love radishes now. I didn't realize how good they were. There's all sorts of nutritional benefits to eating some of these crops, phytonutrients, all sorts of vitamins and minerals. And it's exciting. You could make mashed turnips instead of mashed potatoes, or you could make kale chips instead of eating potato chips.
I actually do like kale chips. That's actually a good substitute. But I've never heard of, making mashed potatoes out of
turnips.
That's a new one for me. So that could be something I'd be willing to try, something new. I did grow up on a farm, and so we had more of a hobby garden, I would say. Mm-hmm. But I would have like things that most people never really would have, like kohlrabi and a few other, turnips, beets.
Yeah.
It wasn't necessarily in every single staple. Like when you go out to eat, it's not necessarily in every single meal, especially depending on where you're going. Mm-hmm. So having that opportunity to try something new, it's very interesting. One for me, I actually like just peeling the kohlrabi and eating it like an apple. Like just eat the whole.
Yeah, when we do kohlrabi, we need to have a whole write-up about it because a lot of people haven't seen it before and have never eaten it. So that's our veggie of the week whenever we do kohlrabi. So we have a lot of recipes tailored to that. A big thing that we do is we buy fresh. So I'll put my order in on Sunday or Monday. It'll get harvested Tuesday, Wednesday. Mm-hmm. We get it Wednesday afternoon. So the stuff that these people are getting is the freshest, best stuff we could buy.
When you said you get it on Wednesday is what you're saying. When do you actually deliver it to the family?
Thursday and Friday.
So it's the freshest. Like there is no transportation. There's nothing that people are having to worry about adding chemicals to make it last. It is the freshest of the fresh.
Yeah,
produce.
The stuff you get at the store, you don't know how long it's been in transit or,
where it came from. Even.
Exactly.
Yeah, it would be nice if they actually did add some of that information so that when you're actually at the store, you could pick something that may be a little bit more local, because when I think about looking at local produce and specifically honey, mm-hmm. like there's so much benefits to honey when it's local because the bees are pulling all that pollen and everything else into making that honey, that it gives you this healthy antibodies to allergies and everything else in your local area. But if it's coming from Wisconsin, it's not the same type of allergy that you're experiencing here in Florida. So it's not as beneficial for your immune system.
Exactly.
Where if it was, the farm down the road, maybe in Davie or somewhere close by, it's going to have a lot of that same, immune properties that you're looking for. So the same goes with a lot of the food.
Exactly.
Because it's in the actual ground growing here.
And to clarify, a lot of people don't necessarily know, but our growing season is October to May.
Okay.
So most of our veg, that's when we get that.
Is it too warm from May to October? Is that
between
one of the other reasons?
The warmth, the amount of rain, and then that brings in the pests. There are some things you could grow. People grow okra. A lot of farms do what's called cover cropping. So they'll plant different crops to add nitrogen or biomass to the soil. Okay. So they plant stuff you don't eat, grow that over the summer, cut it down, and then that heals the soil. So you're not putting fertilizers in. You're growing crops, cutting them down, and letting them break down into the soil.
That's actually really smart because that actually is going to give the nutrients right back to helping you for the next season. Okay. So one of the things that we really love to talk about is collaboration. And you kind of mentioned a little bit of that working with the nurses, doctors. Is there any particular for-profit company or nonprofit that really stands out that you could tell a story about that really brought in some amazing people to work with, with Fresh RX.
So we partnered with the Boys and Girls Club of Palm Beach County. Back during COVID, a lot of the restaurants were shut down. All these farmers who are selling all this produce, they didn't really have a place for it to go. So we did this program called Farm to Family, and that kind of got us involved with the Boys and Girls Club. So we were providing produce bags for 1,100 families a week.
Wow.
So we would get a semi-truck loaded with all sorts of local produce. We'd split it up between the 6 box trucks going to each Boys and Girls Club, and we did that for a while during COVID to kind of help the farmers. This was in the beginning, so this was summer 2020. And then that collaboration evolved into us doing our gardening program, Farm to Kids, at 4 of their clubs, and we're actually starting the 5th club in a couple months right now.
You just mentioned that Farm
to Kids, yes.
Explain a little bit of that program.
So that's our youth garden education program. So we do weekly classes with the kids, and it's pretty much from seed to table.
Yeah.
So they'll plant the seeds, they'll take care of the garden, we'll harvest. We do little activities with them. We'll make salsa with the tomatoes. We'll make pickles with the cucumbers. We'll make a healthy smoothie and put the kale in there. Sometimes the kids get a little worried about the kale, but once it's in the smoothie, they like it. We do salads and show them how to make easy salad dressing recipes. And then at the end of the year, we do a healthy harvest festival. So we have a chef we work with, Chef Daniel Ramos. He'll come in and we'll cook a meal for all the kids, all their family members, and we'll use stuff from the garden.
That's amazing. Especially getting, the kids involved at such a young age, they can actually start seeing healthy alternatives, especially to potentially a lot of foods they've never even experienced before.
Yeah. So we usually do something like a pesto with all the basil. We'll do a chimichurri with some of the other, cilantro, parsley, whatever herbs we have there. We do the salad dressing, and then this is all a demo. So we're providing recipes. We're showing them how to do this. We've done chicken salad with celery from the garden. We have a big salad and bring everyone in there, and it's a good time.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
How long have you been working with the chef?
We've been working with him for probably 5 years now.
Okay.
Yeah, and he's a chef farmer, so he has a small family farm. He was an executive chef. He's done a lot of work all throughout the South Florida area, and he kind of likes having events out on his farm, harvesting a bunch of stuff he grew and then cooking out there. And he does pop-ups all around. He's a great guy.
I could see that being very important for a lot of chefs, because honestly, especially when you're dealing with herbs and everything else that you want the flavor to really come out, if you're growing all of that basil, cilantro, etc., to actually put into your dishes, it's going to taste the best. It's going to taste fresh. It's going to taste, very nutritious also for the guests that are coming out there. So I really love that.
The farm to table movement is definitely gaining some traction, and there's a lot of chefs in the area who are supporting, our local farmers, our local fishermen.
Good.
And it's definitely gaining some traction.
What is a dream collaboration that could take Fresh RX to the next level?
The Boys and Girls Club is national, so we work within the county. So the easiest collaboration that could take us all over the country would be partnering with the Boys and Girls Club and maybe having gardens at every club they own, or doing some sort of programming. That's very feasible. That could definitely happen.
So how many clubs do you know offhand are in Palm Beach?
So I think there's maybe 26 or 27 within the county.
Okay.
We're at 5. The problem is, if they don't own where the club is, sometimes it'll be at a school or a church or something. Doing our gardening program there and, manipulating the outside of it isn't really allowed. And there's some red tape involved with that. But we're actually going to start this program called, we're workshopping it, but Farm to Community, where we have a built out van that could do mobile garden programming. and that would let us work with all sorts of other clubs and other nonprofits within the community that
awesome.
Can't have their own garden on site.
Yeah, no, that would be really valuable for the community, especially. But I love that. So, I mean, working with Boys and Girls Club can really kind of expand. And if you're working with 5 locations right now, you have the potential for another, maybe not all of them, but maybe 5 more up in Palm Beach. But then maybe you can move down to Broward. Then you can move down to Miami or however. So that actually is a really good next step. And I actually think that one's the most valuable in the regards, like you're actually giving the kids education. You're actually giving them what they need so that they can actually, make healthier choices in the future.
Yeah.
So I really do appreciate that. So thank you so much again to Chris Baker and Align and Innovate for being the brand partner for today's episode. If you're looking for an amazing CRM, check out aligninnovate.com and get yours today. So how do people contact you, John, and get more involved with FreshRx?
Yeah, so you could go to our website, freshrx.org. There's a little portal on there where you could reach out to us directly on the website. You could email me directly. My phone number is on there. My email is on there. And you could follow us on our socials, Instagram, Facebook.
FreshRx Florida.
FreshRx.Florida.
Florida. Okay. So then you're also on YouTube, and they also have...
Yeah, our YouTube is, years ago, we had someone help us make recipe videos to go with the newsletter. So there's, I don't know, maybe like 16. They're pretty well done. They're edited well.
Well, check out their YouTube channel. It's FreshRx2369 on YouTube, and it'll also be in the show notes of this episode, so you can click the link down there. John, I have one final question for you that I always end the show with. And what is the legacy that you hope personally to leave for future generations?
I hope that I could help people connect to their food, learn more about where their food comes from. They don't really teach you that in school.
No.
Yeah, so if I could help people connect with their food, connect with their farmer, and improve their health, I would be thrilled.
John, again, thank you so much for being on the show. If you're looking for any way to get involved, check out freshrx.org and contact John and his team. So thank you again so much for everything.
Thank you for having us.
Thank you for joining me on this episode of Visualize. We hope that the inspiration and practical insights can help you foster stronger connections and meaningful change. Don't forget to subscribe, share the episode, and leave us a review. To learn more about Visuals by Momo and how we support collaboration and storytelling, visit visualsbymomo.com. A huge thank you to everyone out there listening. Until next time, remember, collaboration fuels change, and your connections can inspire the world.